Late Show with Luca and Nicholas. I'm your host, Luca Altamira.
And I'm your co-host, Nicholas Stefaduros.
Today we have a very special guest who is a Bollywood actor and a Bollywood movie producer. We welcome Prashant Gupta. Mr. Gupta, please introduce yourself.
Hi guys, good to be here. Good to be on your show. I see this broadcast is growing a lot. Happy to be back on Long Island. I've been living in Mumbai for a long time. So a brief introduction. Born and raised in New York, moved to India 2007 in pursuit of a career in Bollywood. Lived there 15 years, did a lot of movies, shows, commercials. Made a certain name for myself. My kids were growing up and thought 2022 is the right time to come back, and we did. And it's been a good run.
Understood. So what made you pursue acting as a career?
What made me pursue acting as a career is growing up in New York, I was always very involved in the cultural programs of the Indian community, which means annually we would have dance programs and competitions and festivals. So I suppose I just loved performing, theater, dancing. It was never a professional pursuit until the age of 21. At about 18, I decided that this is what I'm good at. I like performing. I like adulation. I don't like the family business that I'm in terms of getting into it. I appreciate what they do. I just didn't want to get into it. So I thought, why not pursue something you're good at or what you think you're gifted with? And that's what made me pursue the performing arts.
Are you happy you pursued acting?
Oh, absolutely, yes. There's a lot of decisions I'm happy about, and there's some that I wish I did differently. But that's every human being who can look back and say, I should have done that differently. But to be born as a human being and to have a mind of your own and to pursue your dream, regardless of whether you make it big, small, you stop halfway, you go all the way, you become a star, the fact that you pursued your dream, you made it to a certain level, and you know for a fact that it doesn't stop where you are currently. It doesn't stop until you stop breathing. So I would tell every kid in the world that please pursue your dream. The only thing I would do differently, and that might be one of your questions, is regardless of whether you come from money, means, wealth, or somebody makes you a promise at 25 that you are always going to have a fallback plan, don't worry, I got you. Always figure out a way to make your own money at an early age as a side income or a parallel income, so you never really have to worry about survival. And at the same time, don't compromise on pursuing your dream either.
When you were a kid, was acting something like part of your life, or did you just find it when you were older and you just stuck to that path?
I was always a starstruck kid. So in the late 80s and early 90s, the Indian movie stars from Mumbai started coming to America to perform in concerts. So some of the prominent venues were Nassau Coliseum and the Queens Colden Center at Queens College. In LA, the Shrine Auditorium. These are all places I've lived in or been to. So to see 15,000 people screaming for movie stars was probably my first, I want this. I gotta have this. I gotta have people yell my name. I mean, normally I was used to performing at a show where there was 200 people, and just the adulation from those 200 made me feel like a movie star. So I knew that if I can grow up and have thousands of people yell my name and scream my name and love me, I fell in love with that before I fell in love with the craft of performing.
Was Bollywood a major staple in your house as a kid?
Major staple. You guys are asking some good questions. You guys have the right questions.
Thank you.
Yeah, people ask me, how are you going to make it in show business? You don't come from a show business family. In India, apparently nepotism is a huge thing. But for me, literally, I grew up on show business. It was a major part of our staple diet consumption. Indian music, Indian movies, Indian actors. I don't know about high school, but in college, there's a class called Film Appreciation. They probably have it in high school now, but I had it in college. And when I was taking that class, I was like, whoa, wait, I've already taken this my whole life. But my father was and is a big cinema buff. So he's the one who exposed me to look at how they act, look at how they sing, look at how they dance, look at the storytelling. So it was a part of my family's staple consumption, just not our business.
Do you think short films are a great way for an aspiring filmmaker to dip their toe in the pool?
I think it's a great way, and I'll tell you why. First of all, you learn everything hands on. And here's another secret I'll share with you. It probably takes the same amount of effort to make a good movie than it does to make a bad movie. Okay, and having said that, when you make your short film, whether you make it as a 5-minute film or a 15-minute film, the art of storytelling, performing, editing, making that poster, everything is a lot of work. My advice is make sure it's 10 minutes or less, because consumers these days don't have the patience.
I definitely agree with that. I would also want to ask, what was your favorite movie to be in?
2 of them. One of them is A New Christmas, which is on Amazon Prime in North America. And one of them is actually a Hindi movie, which is releasing this year.
Oh, really?
So, I'm happy to have done some major hit movies. One was with 20th Century Fox. I've done a major show with Disney. We just shot the 2nd season. And I've done a lot of good films, and I've done a lot of hit films. And it's 2 different things. Fortunately, my good films were hit films, and some of my good films didn't go anywhere because they were a smaller canvas. They didn't have a big producer. And let me be honest, I've done some bad movies too, because you got to pay bills, or hope that it goes somewhere.
What would you say to somebody that's going through an anxiety? What would you say for them? Like,
I would say that curb your time on social media. If you give 45 minutes to going to the gym, because that's all you have, then can't you set a 15-minute time limit for yourself? I know today's technology has these timers. I don't know how to use them, frankly, but I saw somebody use it in Florida where they actually had a digital sort of metric system that they were on Instagram for 20 minutes that day and Facebook for 5, and they set a limit so they don't waste time. But anybody going through anxiety, first of all, please know that you're not alone. Second of all, anxiety itself is real. The causes of it may be completely illusionary. Chances are they're illusionary and they're only in your mind. So sometimes just smiling it off and knowing that it's a fly, it's a bug, it's a mosquito helps. Because chances are you probably have it anticipating something that's about to happen, and that problem will never happen. So walk through it. If you're going through anxiety, go through it, don't stop, so you can come out at the other end.
I really love that. What advice would you give what advice would you give your kids, like on career, and what do you tell them at home when they're at home?
The truth is, I don't tell much to my 13-year-old because he's 13 and I want him to live his childhood to the best of possibility, just as I got to live mine. The reason I tell more to my 17-year-old is because he's very dreamy, he's very entrepreneurial, and he's very street smart, So I grew up being told, I actually grew up very cocooned. I grew up very comforted and almost to the point where I thought I'd never have to worry about money. I don't want my son to have to worry about money. I want him to have it. And I also want him to know that having it is not the solution to happiness. I want him to have it and be on his own feet. And I'm ready for him to make his own mistakes. All I kind of do really is sometimes walk in front of him, sometimes walk behind him. But I don't really hold his hand. If he falls, as long as it's not a well and he can get right back up, I'm okay if he falls.
I think that's it. I think we're good. Prashant Gupta, thank you so much for coming on.
My pleasure. You guys were awesome. You're killing it.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure to have you. We hope that you enjoy this podcast. We hope the viewers at home enjoy this podcast. And yeah, that's it.